For the past few years, I've been trying to change the flow of what games I like to play. I've been an aggressive gamer pretty much a majority of my life, and that builds some preferences or some biases in my head. These biases have solidified me to certain genres in the gaming industry that I don't really shy away from, and they're really what I consider quote unquote good games. But in the last year, I've decided to branch out of my comfort zone and really try to do something new. I had never really been into Metroidvanias, but decided to give Prince of Persia and the Lost Crown a shot, and, well, I was blown away by not only how great that game functioned, but how easy it was for me to enjoy a genre that I really never give a second chance. This exploration has allowed me to fall in love with other games such as the Blasphemous series. These two games have easily become some of my favorite games of all time, and hell, if you ask me to put a top 20 games of all time list together for myself, it's likely that both of these games will make the cut. I could go on and on about how all these games I've discovered due to just now as an adult learning that branching out can be a good thing, but my focus for this video is the most recent reward of my endeavors. I have been a gamer a vast majority of my life. I believe that it is the superior form of storytelling and entertainment. Games have easily been the most immersive way for anybody to tell a narrative in human history, or at least in my opinion. I don't know. It combines art, acting, and the beauty of technology to create worlds, characters, and adventure. So, with all of that useless exposition of my life in mind, I think this is the most rewarding experience I've had trying a new franchise. I have never in my life been a Monster Hunter fan. I've never played a single entry in the series, and it's never really grabbed me. But until I saw the Monster Hunter Wilds trailer, I was sucked in by the sheer spectacle of what it was to hunt these giant beasts down. And so, like any new franchise I get sucked into, I decided to do some research, and I found out that Monster Hunter fans are batshit crazy. There is a massive fan base to this franchise that I never even knew existed. Monster Hunter fans will spend hundreds of hours in each entry, and mind you, this is a series that has had the same 14 weapons and progression structure for like 21 years. So, for about 2 decades, Monster Hunter fans have treated each weapon like it's some astrological sign that you were born with. As if using dual blades is a sign you don't know how to slow down or are likely to cheat on your spouse or something weird like that. Seriously, why do people talk shit about the insect glaive? I don't really. Anyways, I will always love a passionate fan base for a franchise, and although I'm now a Monster Hunter fan, I don't think I can keep up with those who treat it like a lifestyle. But, as a newcomer to the franchise, I have to admit Capcom's got some pretty sweet shit here. So, taking the advice as a newcomer, here are my thoughts. First off, if you are new to this franchise, I highly recommend starting with Monster Hunter Worlds and or Monster Hunter Rise. I treated both of these entries as sort of like a practice round for Wilds, and I think it made the overwhelming nature of this franchise a lot easier for me. And yes, these games are incredibly intimidating when you first play them. There are a billion menus, a billion tutorials, dozens of things to craft, so many perks within armor and weapons. What you think the majority of the playthrough will be is crafting and reading. And I completely understand being told to power through or wait till the good part can be exhausting in video games, but the best way I can describe it is that Monster Hunter seems to take each lesson in stride. The game's main narrative or story is more like a tutorial for the overall experience. It uses the main story in a manner that allows the game to teach you how to progress through the slug of menus and endless tutorials to then put it all together into a really cool hunting simulation. You could say this is Monster Hunter's biggest weakness, but I would also say it's Monster Hunter's biggest strength, and I am aware that that doesn't make sense, so just bear with me for a minute. Monster Hunter is comparable to Souls-like games, and no, not in terms of difficulty, Sekiro, you got that shit in the bag, brother. But I mean sticking to their guns on what the game is. Monster Hunter as a franchise is intimidating and it has a learning curve. It requires patience and understanding that you, as the player, have to mold to the game, not allow the game to be created in a manner that is convenient for you. There's this annoying saying in the military, it's called Semper Gumby, which loosely translates to suck it the fuck up and adapt. The game does not apologize for feeling clunky, and it does not shy away from being its own personality. Look, the gameplay loop is simple: get a quest, hunt a monster, collect their pelt for your own personal gain like some sort of steroided Cruella de Vil. And this is exactly why I recommend World or Rise first. Playing previous entries in the series not only made me comfortable with the more uncomfortable factors within the Monster Hunter universe, but it allowed me to more appreciate the new mechanics and the more streamlined gameplay of Monster Hunter Wilds. If I had to describe Monster Hunter Wilds in one word, that word would be fluent. This entry has made the overall experience flow like water, my friend, as you hunt and gather. If you master the controls of your Nada Chocobo and understand the grappling mechanics, you won't skip a beat as you slay monsters and collect items around you in the world. Playing World and Rise allowed me to experience the limitations of the franchise in previous titles and appreciate the changes brought to Monster Hunter Wilds so much more. I'm telling you, if you play World or Rise first, you will enjoy Wilds that much more. One of the common complaints of Monster Hunter Wilds is its easy difficulty. Most are saying that it's the easiest of the series, and I don't believe that's by design. To me, it appears that Capcom designed Wilds as any other traditional Monster Hunter game, but didn't realize that the new mechanics took away a key aspect of the difficulty. Allowing your Nada Chocobo to be utilized in all aspects of the game has made it more efficient for players. You can now drink potions while running away, and you can now even store a second weapon in the pouch, which, by the way, it is absolutely crazy that it took 21 years for this game franchise to carry one backup weapon. Like I said, Monster Hunter as a franchise is what it is, and it's not going to apologize for it. So, Semper Gumby. You can now sharpen your blade on the move instead of freaking the fuck out as you stand still and sharpen your blade with a Barroth on its way to mud pie you. We can just move on. I don't believe the monsters got easier. I think the tools in which they gave you to hunt these monsters have progressed, allowing the player to have an easier time handling each hunt. It kind of creates this illusion that the monsters are easier when in fact the gameplay mechanics are allowing you to be better. Obviously, I would hope that this gets addressed in later DLCs or maybe even future games of the franchise. Allow this efficient movement to still exist, but still have the difficulty desired by a long term fan base. Full disclosure, I am speaking more to those who are brand new to the franchise. I'm coming at it from an outward looking in perspective. If you happen to be watching this, understand this opinion is solely focused on recommending Monster Hunter to a new audience. If you are a die-hard Monster Hunter fan and have opinions about Wilds being a step in the wrong direction for the franchise, I highly suggest you stand by that opinion and just provide detail to those who are new as to why. As a long-term Assassin's Creed fan myself, I hate how a quote-unquote new audience influenced that franchise to abandon its identity so many times. It's hard to remember what the identity actually used to be. The whole point of this is to encourage people to step out of their comfort zone and experience new titles, not just Monster Hunter as a franchise, but just new titles away from your current genres in general. Monster Hunter Wilds just happens to be a perfect example as to why stepping away from your typical games to break up the biases in your head is a healthy thing. The current state of the gaming industry has caused many people to make statements like, there are no good games anymore and they don't make that like they used to. I kind of call bullshit. Gaming is evolving, and I highly recommend your taste change from time to time. You never know what experiences you're holding out on because it's quote unquote not your cup of tea. But what the hell do I know? I'm just an average Joe with a microphone, and at the end of the day, just stay caffeinated and go play Monster Hunter Wilds. It's a damn good time.